My oldest, my 22-year-old and I are going to go across from Boston to the UK to Manchester to see a concert and maybe to meet up with a YouTube photographer friend of mine. And I thought I'd show you what does it take and how should you think about and pack your photography gear so you can bring photography with you on your next vacation, but not in a way that frustrates the people you travel with and not that you carry so much stuff you look like a roaming camera salesperson. So that's what we're going to sneak into today. So I guess first we have to talk about how much stuff are you taking with you in general, because you can't make your photography gear too much of your carrying of your luggage or whatever. So how much stuff are you carrying? For instance, take a look at this. I've got a backpack and I've got my carry-on suitcase, my rollerboard suitcase, and that's all I'm taking. So I could possibly sneak like a sling bag inside the carry-on, but I'll tell you why I'm not going to, but it's an option. We have to talk about which cameras you're bringing for what kind of photography, and that might help you make a decision there. Okay, so if you're not doing this for work, if you're doing this for just love and hobby and passion, only take one camera body, no matter what. Now there's an option if you have a small pocketable camera, like we're gonna go to a concert and I can put they basically don't want you to take long lenses to a concert because then you're gonna act like you're the press even though you're in row like 300 or something. So they say you can take a smallish camera. So I've got a pocket Canon G7X, just a super small baby that'll go with me to the concert. It'll take up no room in my bags. I'm not even pretending it's a camera. So one body. So in my case, that's the Sony a7 IV. It's got dual slots, so there's that possibility that I'll be safe in case one of my cards corrupts. But beyond that, if I have a catastrophic problem with my camera, I lose anything I took there. But this is not like somebody's wedding. It's not, the birth of a child. It's a holiday, so it's okay. One body. Okay, so like I said, one body. I'm gonna do the Sony a7 IV, not counting the G7X that I'm gonna take to a concert, but that's because I'm going to a concert. Pretend I'm not. Sony a7 IV. What's on it right now is a great little lens. It's a Viltrox, it's a full frame. It's only one focal length though. It is, I think it's 28 millimeter f4.5 or something like that. One simple, easy lens. This is a great street photography setup. So I've got this lens and I've got my Helios 44M, which is 58 millimeter f2. I'm going to see if I can travel with just this and the Helios, but in case I can't, I have a third lens that I'm bringing this trip. I have the room for it, it's no big problem. Tamron 28 to 75 f2.8. That's my sort of, it works and it's a very solid, safe kind of a lens, if that makes sense. It's one that I know I can do good things with. So I'm going to bring that in case, but I'm gonna see if I can get by with just this little baby and with my Helios, which is a manual lens, and see if I can operate that way. And if I can't, then I have a retreat. So like I say, technically 3 lenses, I'm gonna see if I can do 2. But let's talk deeper about lenses and focal lengths, just so you can understand kind of the thought and the planning. I have a little bitty light that charges from USB. See, simple. I'm just gonna use it to show us in here. This is just my backpack, just a regular travel backpack. I'm just gonna show you in here, both my lenses are nestled in there and I have plenty of room for my camera body and this light. So I have all kinds of room. And I'm just pointing that out because that's one of the goals. So depending on what you're shooting, that's how you pick which lens you want to take. So if I'm gonna do street and travel, now you can get away with one lens. It's whatever one lens you think covers the most similar focal length that you prefer. So if you're street, you can do 24, you can do 28 or the equivalent. You can do 35, you can do 40 or 50. I want to do 2 lenses. I want to do a 28 for wide shots. I want to do a 50-ish, in my case it's a 58, for kind of zooming in a bit. Now, I could do the same with just that one lens, that 28 to 75. Covers small to wide, can be fine. If I were thinking I was going to do a lot more portraits, I would definitely have to consider maybe something like with a 1.8 or 1.4 so I can get that nice, beautiful, creamy bokeh blur on portraits. But because I'm traveling, I'm just going to kind of have a few things. You could do it with one lens, like I said. I'm going to do a 28 and I'm going to do a 58. You could do it with one lens if you're mostly doing street and travel. Oh, Chris, but what if I want to zoom and get something, tight detail from across the way, a mountain range away? Clip, crop, make it smaller. You don't have to use a lens to do it if you want. Lenses are one way to get zoomed in. So that's how I'm choosing my lenses. So one body and two lenses if we pretend I don't have my secret backup just in case lens. Again, you can pick what you want. I'm trying, because I go for photography as medication. How am I doing today, Brogan? I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do those two lenses, the 28 and the 58. So that's how I'm doing it. What else needs to go in my pack? What else do I need to take with me? How do I make sure this is going to be an okay trip? So if you're like a birder or something like that, you take pictures of birds and you need those big fat long lenses, then that's cool. Sorry, I'm looking for something while we're talking. Oh, that's cool. And if you are, maybe you need a special bag for that. If I were going to take a sling, I have a Bellroy 10 liter. This is a fairly small, it looks huge the way I'm holding it. It's a fairly small one. It's got 3 little slots in it, and it's a Bellroy 10 liter. I'll put links to this down below for you. But because I don't need that, it's staying behind, I will put the lenses I'm taking in my backpack, my smallish backpack. And the way I'll do that is I bought some of these. These are small little lens bags, and I'll put a link to those as well. These mean that I bought 4 of these. I'm only gonna take 2 with me. I'll explain that in a second. But I can put these in my backpack, which will go on the plane with me. So my camera body, 2 lenses, and 1 on the actual camera are going to come with me. Could have done this with 1 whole lens. And what I'm kind of going to do is travel as if I don't have a certain lens with me. I'll get back to that in a second too. But basically, it's instead of carrying a second walk around sling bag or something like that, I've made the decision that I'm just going to have a camera with me, a lens in my pocket, and we'll call it good. I'll explain how I got to that. There's no benefit to stuffing your bag to the top so that it's going to burst at the first moment. What we're looking to do is we're looking to capture a fun experience photographing, like I said at the beginning, where we're not frustrating the people we're with. And I'll tell you what gets in the way. This is the thing to think about. The paradox of choice. If you have too many options, then it takes you so much longer to get ready. If you have very few options, then you could be out the door in no time. In my case, I've got that little bitty small lens that's sitting right on it it's the baseline thing I'll take with me. And then I've got my Helios I can swap. I'll put my Helios in my jacket pocket. It's small enough, it'll be fine. I'll put it in my jacket pocket and I can swap it out when I want. I can swap between both lenses, easy peasy. Do whatever's going to make it the easiest experience you can for the people around you. Do not make people wait for you. Do not especially make them wait for gear stuff. Hang on, wait, I got to do my thing. Try your best to have everything ready to go. Charge your stuff when you get back to the room. Clear the cards off when you get back to the room. Do it before you go out to dinner if you can, unless you're getting in the way of something. Always think about the other person you're with, because they're not there to be your photo assistant. They're there having their own experience and they're fun. So it's your job to fit into their experience, not mess their experience up, because surely they need to understand that you're here for photography. That's tricky, right? But that's how we have to do. We have to make it so that your stuff doesn't get in the way of their stuff just because you want to be a superstar photographer. Neither you nor I are Henri Cartier-Bresson, so we can miss a shot here and there. But if we want, and if we're kind of like good at planning, we can make our way through some of it. So first, and probably easiest, you're going to have an SD card in your camera probably, or whatever your media is, and you're going to have a battery in your camera. You can choose to bring an extra SD card. You should definitely opt to bring a second battery, or even a third. Is your camera something you could charge easily? Is it the kind of thing you can plug a cable into? Great. Can you maybe consider taking 2 batteries just the same? Sure. I'm gonna have a total of 3 batteries, plus I'll have a cable to charge right into my camera if I need to. That's my plan anyway. Now the storage could get full, so what do I do with that? You can either drag it onto a computer or you can have more than one SD card if you want. So let's check in. We've got one body. I have 2 lenses. I have 3. One body, 2 lenses, whatever the smallest amount of lenses you can get through. 1 SD card, maybe 2 SD cards. Do you want to bring something to transfer stuff off of the card onto? So for instance, I'll bring a laptop. Some people like to use a tablet. Some people try to get them up onto the cloud. It's how your workflow goes. In my case, I'll bring a laptop because I'll need one for other stuff anyway, but you don't have to. You could just go with cards. So you've got, extra battery. And if you want, a charger so that you can have that going too. So for just the camera, I've got the 2 lenses. I've got the lens bags that I showed you, these guys. And so now I'm pretty much packed to go. What else do I need to do for this? So for instance, one thing I can do is I can take a look at the area we're going to go to on Google Maps and start looking around it to see what else is nearby, what other things might be kind of fun to take a look at. Shops, Manchester, UK. Let's see. What street are the shops on? See? So I now look and see. So for street photography, I'm going to get a whole lot of people. So this area looks pretty good. Now I have got a man on the street out there though. I've got a buddy, George, who lives in Manchester and does street photography there. So now I can say to him, hey, what about the Barton Arcade? So you take a look at it. Oh, look at that. Like that's going to be kind of a not bad area. So now I can start putting together a bit of a route. I could say, okay, so there's the Barton Arcade. I can go through there. I can see this place, the Royal Exchange Arcade. Again, there's more photos that I can look through. I could start to map a route before I even go there. And that's going to help me understand what's to do and where it is and what other kinds of things are picturesque for people, for street photography. So mapping out becomes part of my trip too, so at least I know. So at least there was that, whatever it was called, Barton Arcade, Barton Square, Manchester. So I can look there, I can start there as one of my routes and start to figure it out. There's a Roxy Ballroom right nearby, so there's some places where there's going to be some people. Barton Square, there's a little bus route there. So it looks like a good area. So another thing done. Well, my kid's gonna be over soon. I've got to put my camera back in the bag. I've got to double check that I have all my batteries and they're at 100%. I'm gonna get ready to take a car down to the airport, about an hour from the house, and then off to England. So my next video on this channel, and probably some of the shorts, will be me over in the UK. See you there.